You know, the Donald Trump's war in off of Venezuela. And notice I'm calling it a war off Venezuela because I think he would like people to believe that. Not that I necessarily think he's going to go in, because again, like I pointed out on my program this morning at KPFT, I think going into Venezuela would make Vietnam look like a joke, because again, Latin Americans and people with the Bolivarian Revolution are not going to be quite happy if we start to get boots on the ground. And if he tries a bombing operation, there's going to be hell to be paid in Venezuela. But again, for those who are buying the crap that the Trump administration is pointing out as to why they're down there, I want you to listen to David Frum from The Atlantic and listen to what he has to say about the results of what Trump is doing down below. What is turning out to be what again? A colossal mistake. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I imagine that most Americans would say, if the Trump administration were successfully keeping drugs off American shores, even if they're using rough methods, even if they're breaking laws, maybe that's a price worth paying to keep drugs away from American shores. So I think it needs to be pounded home what a colossal failure and farce this policy is, and how completely irrelevant it is to any real American drug problem, and how much this is all about the TV cameras. You know, prices have been up during the Trump years. There's one price Donald Trump has successfully brought down, and that is the price of cocaine. The Wall Street Journal reports in September that cocaine prices have fallen dramatically in this year, 2025. If an interdiction, interdiction is a policy, there's a very easy measure to tell whether it's working. If you're successfully interdicting drugs, the price goes up. If you're not successfully interdicting drugs, the price goes down. And the price has been going down, down, down. And why is it going down? Because there's a huge increase in cocaine production in Colombia, a country that used to be a close ally of the United States, but that Donald Trump has alienated. Donald Trump sent people back in chains to Colombia. He's threatened sanctions. He's threatened military action against Colombia. Colombia has a president who's a little difficult to deal with, no question. But this former ally has been pushed away, so they're not cooperating. And most of the cocaine that comes from Colombia to the United States goes through Ecuador, up the Pacific coast, bypassing the Caribbean entirely. That's not to say that no cocaine comes through the Caribbean. Some does. But if you were serious about this problem, you would cooperate with Colombia. There's going to be a new president next year who will be easier to deal with. Cooperate with Colombia, crack down on production in Colombia, and monitor the Pacific coastline of South America and the United States. This is a show for TV cameras. And Hegseth, who produced the show, he should be. This whole question of who gave the orders. His name's on. He's in charge. He's always strutting about and doing these performances about what a commanding figure he is. And then when there's trouble, he doesn't know how long he spent. He doesn't know what he did. All he knows is it's somebody else's fault. What a punk.
So yes, big and pompous El Señor Hegseth is going to create lethality in the middle of the ocean. But when he's now concerned about possibility of being held as a war criminal, he detracts, he falls back, he's scared. But again, it's about the policy. And what the American government under the auspices of Donald Trump is doing is simply not only an act of incompetence, but it's something that will come back to bite us. We're wasting so much money. God knows how many billions of dollars it costs to keep that carrier there, to keep those operations going, to killing those people that ultimately are going to come to court and win, as we realize that we've not killed a lot of narco-terrorists, whatever they want to call them, but that we've killed quite a few innocent people. And you know what? In the long run, we're going to pay for that. Now, God forbid that these other countries start looking at the United States and their exportation of weapons of war to their countries. Because remember, these weapons are made many a times by Americans. What happens when they start to follow the same policies that we follow to interject that which is coming from outside to harm us? If Donald Trump really wanted to solve a drug problem, they would make America more livable. They will ensure that people won't solve their pain by covering it with drugs, alcohol, and other controlled substances. It is not a supply problem. It's a demand problem. And the demand is there because we have a country where people are in pain.
All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.